Oh, who that? Oh, who that? Trey Oxen then. What the guan, soldier? What the guan, rude? Oh, yeah, a little clear there. Right there. Okay. What up, Trey? What up, Cheese? What's happening, Cheese? Where the fuck you been, my nigga? What's going on? Cavario DJ? What's happening? Hello. Glad you popped in to WePopNSon. I'm Pop, and my son is out there somewhere. Silent money business. What's going on, Mafia? You see that joint I posted today? One of the little homies made that joint. Smiley out of Florida, out of Hollywood, Miami, down that way. He made that joint. Kev GA, R95, what's happening? It's Khadijah Rivera. Khadijah Rivera. Remind me, Khadijah, where it is that we know one another from. Big Wiz Omen, what's going on? Thanks for tapping in. Did my headphones... Am I on my headphones? Or am I straight to the mic? Oh, no. Now I'm on my headphones. I think the sound quality on the last video was better because I used my headphones, I believe. Maybe cracking up on it sometime. Can you tell us about the Best Out crew? I mean, it wasn't much to tell. They were a bunch of guys. Puffy was down with them. ASAP Ferg's father, my man D Ferg, peaceful journey to him. My man Mike, they used to call him Mike Cock. Obviously get the joke. A bunch of cats from uptown. What up, son? You on your Life of Mills? So a bunch of cats from uptown. So the original promo that people thought was a magazine, when I first brought out that promo to advertise Don Diva Entertainment, because there was no, and I'll keep saying this so people get the reality of it and not believe lies and bullshit and rumor. Nobody had a plan to make a magazine called Don Diva. We made a promo for a company that I named Don Diva Entertainment. And we made a promo that looked like a makeshift magazine, but it was a promo and it had a bunch of pictures in it, right? Those pictures, a lot of those pictures were, there's a bunch of pictures of the Best Out crew in there. So, so it was Puff and like I said, D Ferg and Tone Wop. I think Tone Wop was down with them. Tab. There's a bunch of cats, bunch of the homies from uptown. Used to be on 145th Street, whatever. Puff was, doing his party promoter thing or whatever. So he was part of that. Puff, Diddy. I don't know how old you are, but depending on how old you are, Puffy, Puff Daddy, Diddy, Love, number 10096542. I don't know if that's really his number, so don't try to use it. You get the joke. So yeah, that's what the Best Out crew was. It was they were guys who did parties and promotions. They were guys who were trying to do something to, I was a street dude, so their activity was peripheral to me. But they were dudes who were around the streets, not in the streets, but around the streets, around street dudes. Because, at this time, this is, the crack era. So meaning the crack era, let me define that for you. The crack era is that era where everybody and their mama was selling drugs because crack was highly attainable. Cocaine was cheap. Everybody and their mother had it. Where you at, Ty? Everybody and their mother had it. So the day, $1,000 a week, whatever. So everybody's doing it to supplement their income, right? Y'all get these images from that time and y'all are left with the impression that everybody was getting all this money. You see all those big dookie ropes, those big hollow 10 carat, sound like loose change in your pocket chains. Y'all think of those chains in terms of today. And today, y'all see a lot of fake chains. Like 99.9% of the jewelry y'all see on these rappers is fake. It's fake. That's why it sounds like hollow metal banging up against one another. Most of you have never had, jewelry or heavy jewelry, so you don't know that that's not the sound that gold makes. But you hear it in their videos, and they're walking and they talking and they, we all that, you know what I mean? Blah, this, that, and the other. Y'all niggas ain't awake, and you hear clank, 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 and the clank in the back. Yeah, that's not real gold. It's jewelry because, it is jewelry by design, right? Jewelry is, some sort of external adornment that you adorn yourself with or whatever, and it's supposed to enhance your appearance. Some object you put in your ears or wherever, your nose or whatever. You know what I mean? But what up, son? But yeah, not real. But the crack era was, them guys had 10 karat gold, a lot of 10 karat gold, a lot of it was borrowed, a lot of it was stolen. Y'all let a few pictures fool y'all. Y'all really do. But anyway, best out. That was, like I said, they were a crew of guys who did parties and promotions and maybe like bus rides, stuff like that, whatever. I didn't partake in any of that kind of stuff. I was from another world. I wasn't from that world. The get together guys and do the look at us stuff and all that kind of stuff. I was a professional criminal. I dealt with professional criminals. I rocked and moved with professional criminals, so that wasn't my circle. But I knew everybody, because we're all from Harlem or whatever. So I mean, Puff ain't from Harlem, but he was around and like that. What made you ask about that? What up, son? Why is it so dark over there where you at? Big John Lemon? I have no idea. I have no idea. You talking about Lim? Silent Business. What's going on, Silent Money Business? Mafia. 809 JR. What's the word, Ty? What you got going?
Word of the day. Let's be honest.
Uh-oh. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. What about them? Partonet DS. What's happening, Partonet DS? Thanks for tapping in, WePopNSon. And I'm gonna let y'all know again, man. This is the first and only. What's up, sis? They go your aunt, MSH 69 New York.
Hey.
What's going on? You want to be in the video? Send a request to be in your live. You want to be in the live? This is my little sister, y'all. She want to be in the live. Silent Money P. What's going on?
Wait.
Oh, there she go.
Oh.
You sent the request?
I did. I didn't know. I thought it just meant that you would see that I was on. Hey,
I knew it was a mistake. I know it was a mistake, but I said I would do it anyway.
Hey, sweetheart.
What's up, baby?
I'm sitting here getting some work done, so I'm just listening and taking it all in.
I can dig it. I appreciate that. I appreciate you tapping in. So, y'all, this is my sister, as y'all can see, obviously. Right.
Obviously.
It's like three of the same faces on this joint.
Yes, G's are strong in this joint. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was thinking about y'all this morning. What's up with Malik? That's my brother.
He's doing well. He's doing well. I talked to him about
health is good.
Yeah, his health is well. Talked to him about my Eagles. So, he's taking that all in, but he's doing well. He is.
Excellent. Tell him I send love.
I will.
Absolutely. How the ladies?
The ladies are ladying.
Yeah.
Your niece is out here doing whatever it is they do in her life, and she's doing her nursing thing. And Maya and her daughter are doing well. We're all actually doing quite well.
That's wonderful.
Philly. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Everything is coming along. Your niece is about to graduate in May. Mid-May.
She's still in California? Okay.
Yep. And she's killing it. She's
Well,
killing
Lord,
it, man. That kid is A+, all day, every day, and about her business, man, and brilliant.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yeah,
I
she's
wouldn't expect.
absolutely brilliant, man.
Good.
Yeah,
And how the other
yeah,
girls? Because you've got
yeah. I
this
got.
one comedian, and then you've got the one down there with the kids and the wife
Yep,
and all that. How
yep,
they doing
yep,
down there?
yep. Cavario's got it. Hey, hey, mwah.
That's your grandniece. Yep. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. I know,
Hi,
right?
sweetie.
She's got that sweet little voice.
Yeah, but Cavario's he going strong, man. He's just a solid dude. Just a solid dude. He's a really solid dude. Cool as a fan as always. And my oldest, she is doing wonderfully with her business. Her two daughters who she homeschooled, they got a whole school set up in their house. They got like an 8-bedroom, 3-story place up there in Connecticut. It's beautiful,
Ah,
absolutely beautiful.
okay.
And her and her husband I love them. I love going up there kicking it with them. It's so cool. And my nieces they're so unbelievably us is wild. Sharp as razors, man.
It's something
Sharp as
in the
razors.
blood.
Yes, man.
It's something
It's
in the
it.
blood.
Yeah,
Because
we're born under the sign of genius.
yeah, because
True. It's true.
we weren't necessarily
True.
all raised by the same people or in the same
Nope.
environment, but
Nope.
there's something intrinsically
Yes.
just kind of woven
Yes.
throughout that
Yes. Yes,
bloodline
indeed.
where
Yes,
they're all
indeed.
brilliant,
Yes,
brilliant,
indeed. It's
brilliant.
no bullshit. It really
Yeah.
is. It really is. Except for this guy right here. This guy right here, I think. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
That's
kidding.
your twin. That's your twin right there.
Yeah, for real, dude. I look at him sometimes. I be like, yo, that is so weird.
Yeah, you did
It's
that.
like looking in a mirror. It's so bizarre.
You gave birth to
But
yourself, my friend. You
yes,
gave
yes,
birth to
indeed.
yourself.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. He too much of a fool too. I see some of your posts today. Yo, bro. Like, man, you keep me apprised of just how insane this society is. Like for
Oh
real, for real.
yeah,
For real,
cause
for
you
real.
so disconnected and you be saying so you like if you trip, I'm like, no, it's crazy. Okay, Lilo, that's it. That's it. Okay,
That's
stick
Stitch.
with
That's
Lilo.
Stitch.
Stick with
Lilo
Lilo,
or
stick.
Stitch? What is
That's
it?
That's stick
that's
It's
Stitch.
right
Stitch.
there.
That's
Okay.
Stitch.
That's
Yep.
stick.
Yep.
So there you were saying, Todd?
Yeah, I know you be in the house, so you be kind of disconnected.
Yes,
So
yes,
every
indeed.
time I say something, you be like, man, why you acting like? I be like, this is why I'm at. You don't know what you talk. Like, this is what's going on. This is what's
Lord
happening
have
out here.
mercy. That's why I like being in the woods. That's why I like being in the woods. What's up, Jay Wad? That's why I like being in the woods, man. Mike Deuce 2, Roxy Rock 65, Wani LV 16,000 E from Uptown. What's happening? Welcome to WePopNSon. That's my sister right there. And my great niece right there behind her in the Stitch outfit. What up, JTXP? Adele Wesley, thanks for tapping in. I got to shout my peoples out. The House of Sufian in the building as always. This is one of my most ardent supporters. This brother right here, and he makes some excellent soaps and scents, all natural and awesome and Afrocentric too.
Put the
That
website.
have you smelling like a black person, like a beautiful black person. What they like to call black people, but we're really the indigenous people. This is our country. This is our land. You know what I mean? They can try to keep it as much a secret as they want, but we was here.
Jimmy, put his website out there so people can.
What is your website, Suf? What's your website, bro? Put that up there, man. I know it's gonna be www dot something or other. And definitely check out my website. I've been putting up a lot of content. Oops, that wasn't right. I am Medi. What's happening? I've been putting up a lot of content on my site. A lot of my merch that I've been holding on to for a long time. Iwi Kiza, thanks for tapping in. WePopNSon. Iwi Kiza. I've never seen you on the line before, but I appreciate you tapping in. Checking out what we got going on. Usually about this point in this experience, I would probably be going on some long-winded tirade about something that actually matters, though. You know what I mean? Not just some random shit off the top of my head. Well, it might be off the top of my head, but it's not random. You know what I mean? I try to weave it into the conversation, usually behind something somebody asks or says or whatever. But, there's a lot of things going on that warrant our time and attention, like a lot of people, I know they see these things in their feeds, but there it is, the House of Sufian.
I got it.
Can I pin yours? I can pin his too. All right, so I just pinned both of our websites.
Okay.
They're like our people, and that's what I address. By the way, shout out to the little homie, he's Havoc. He's been locked up for about 20 years now. He's the brother or the homie of a little brother of mine, my brother Paulie. Paulie was down with me and my crew, our family. We had a family back in the early 80s. Paulie would probably be the precursor to my other homie, Pistol Pete. But he was Pistol Pete before Pistol Pete. He's Puerto Rican kid, looked like when he was 20, he looked like he was 12. And got to the money, super dangerous, super duper dangerous. Like he was running around with the AK-47, and we had AK-47s in the 80s, 84, 5, 6. We had AK-47s. Is what it is, you know what I mean? But Paulie was a wild one, for real, for real. If y'all from the Bronx, y'all know who little Paulie was. You know what I mean? Like he was the original Joe Pesci. Yeah, for real, for real. So he's Havoc is a little homie of Paulie's, and so Havoc sent me this joint. I'm gonna be doing a review on this joint, letting y'all know what this is about. Support. You know what I mean? Havoc got locked up when he was 19, I think 19 years old, running wild. He's from Soundview. You know what I mean? So if you're from Soundview, from the View, you know what it is. But the things, Mr. Ab 357, what's happening? Nina, what's good? Thanks for tapping in. HD forever. Thanks for tapping in. WePopNSon. That's right, Jay Ware. He can't stop us from celebrating what we know is true. That's a fact. EJack 821, biz as usual. Thanks for tapping in. We got love for that. Trump canceled all ethnic events. I don't even know what that means. All ethnic events? I mean, see, canceling things as though you're in position to disable people from participating in things that they can volunteer to participate if they fucking want to is ridiculous. Like the concept that a lot of people have these ideas about who these human beings are that work in these jobs. Human beings working jobs. Just like slapping a badge and a suit on somebody doesn't make them suddenly smarter or tougher or anything. They're the same person, whoever they were. Anybody that already knew them before they became a cop, that's the same level of regard and respect that they have for them after they become a cop, because they're the same person. It's just a job, all right? People relinquish their own power, their personal power, when they allow the idea of an institution to embody itself in an individual who is a representative of that institution. Not everybody deserves the same level of regard or reverence or respect just because they do a thing. That is very oversimplified thinking, which is the reason why I push the concept of critical thinking so frequently, because that is the main problem amongst people in general, our people in particular, as far as I'm concerned, right? Because you do not think critically, which is to think about what you think about, you have a tendency to not really think at all, but to assimilate your ideas with the ideas of the general circle of people that you are most frequently in the company of or influenced by, whether it is your family or your friends or your social media following or who you're following on social media. But that is not going to serve you. And in no time at all, you're going to realize how much it actually undermines you and does damage to you, So when somebody like Trump says, I'm going to disband this and disband that, and people act like, oh my God, it just vanished. It suddenly is unattainable, untouchable, undoable because he said it's like that he just throwing shit at the wall and y'all letting it stick. You're like, yeah, they fell for that one too. They went for that one too. Like, what else we got? What else we got? You know what I mean? Like, y'all have got to take some degree of responsibility for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Right, son?
What the thing is with the government not funding these things, now you as the people that it's supposed to benefit, you can actually collect the money and you can actually benefit and organize it yourself. But people don't want to do the work. They want somebody to give it to them. And that's just kind of part of the problem. But right now is a space where people can really monopolize the situation, but it would cause them to really come together as a community. And we know niggas don't like to work together.
I mean, yeah, but you know, I mean, why is that? Why is it that we don't like to work together? Well, why do you think that is? Because so many things just went through my mind just now because I don't like working. So, but I got, you know, I've been betrayed. I've been let down. I've been straight up lied to. I have been abandoned. And I've been crossed. And I don't think, you know, it's one thing to be crossed and another thing to be betrayed. To be crossed is an intentional thing. To be betrayed is tantamount to being let down, but with, you know, not a malicious intent. You know what I mean? Just something else that was more immediately potentially beneficial to the person came along, so they decide to go with that option. They always come back, but they decide to go with that option, right? So I've been betrayed by people who I've allowed back into my circle because I overstood the short-sightedness of their process, you know, and you know, but somebody who crossed me never gets back in, you know. And I'm at a point now, you know, closer to 60 than 50, but even somebody who doesn't have the wherewithal, the self-control, or cognitive ability to think past their immediate wants or desires, I don't give them the opportunity to impose their condition on me either anymore, you know. But those are the reasons that I don't like to work with, you know, our people. But the reason that we would have the idea that this is particular to our people is because we largely deal with our people. So we would think that this is a situation that is more prevalent in our group than it is with any other group. But I have very close friends who are not melanated people, or they may be melanated people, but they're not FBA, right? They're not foundational so-called Black Americans, right? And I got my Mexican homies in Mexico who I spent time with in Mexico, and they'll tell you in a minute, you know, Mexicans ain't shit, man. But I love Mexicans because every Mexican I know was somebody whom I came into contact with through some deliberate intention. So I chose that association. You know, it wasn't just something that happened through a circumstance of just, this is my prevalent group, and, you know, amongst them are some people who are POS. You know what I mean? I've had the same experience with Caucasians, who they say, yo, like, well, I can't stand whiteys, man. Like, white people, you know, your uncle, you know, Trev, we like, I can't stand crackers. He's been saying that since we were kids. I can't stand crackers. You know what I mean? Like, white people walk by with their kid and it's wintertime and the mother got on the jacket, father got on the jacket, and the baby sitting there in a sweater or a shirt with no hat on, and he'd be like, hold on a second, we walking down the street, he'd be like, yo, put the fucking clothes on that baby. What do you think he's that cold? Like he just didn't like the ways that white people are. You know what I mean? He's white. So I think every group has that same dynamic. You deal with a group more often than you deal with other people, and you see all the human shortcomings in that group. They just happen to be your people, right? But it's not particular to us. No. It isn't.
I think,
you know.
I think that I don't need to come into the thing, but since I'm here,
no, that's what
That's what it's here for.
I honestly think that I expect a certain amount of betrayal, bullshit, and fuckery from other people. I think
Other than
for me,
us.
yeah, like I know Karen is coming after me. I know when she puts on the white girl tears, what that
My
means.
wife says the same thing.
Right? So I get that. I think that for me, the hurt is when you look like me. I don't have my guard up the same way for someone who looks like me then doesn't look like me. So when that betrayal comes, I'm only going to give you one time. I don't really care about your intent. I don't care about whether it was you were purposely being malicious. At the end of the day, if you cross that line and I'm hurt by what you did, I'm done.
Yes.
I'm done.
Self-preservation.
I will still, and it gets difficult the older you get. And I think your commitment to the people that look like you, I do social work for a living. I do all day long, all night long, weekends, whatever. There's a certain amount of commitment that you have to your people. I've been offered, you can come here and make more money doing this. You can make more money doing that. But at the end of the day, if we leave our people to other people to deal with, we're going to be fucked in so many different ways. So when you're working, and most of the people who work in the field with me look just like us. So when the bullshit comes from inside, it's like, we're all supposed to be educated Black people here to service our community in a way that the other folks are not going to do. So when the bullshit comes from inside like that, it's like, you know what? I can see being a beach bum and not dealing with this shit no more. With it. Like, I'm at a certain age, right? So I think for me, I don't think it's that we don't like working with each other. It's just we don't like the bullshit that comes with it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I prefer walking into a room and seeing you there and getting to chop it up with you, have shared experience with you, and tackle the fight with you because you understand what the fight is. And I'll be able to understand when you walk in and you're tired or something happened on the outside that affects how you are maneuvering with me. I understand because I've got a brother that looks just like you. I know what that is. But then when it's so I would prefer to fight the battle with you. It's just I don't like the bullshit that comes, and you have to sometimes separate and stay focused on the fight. Because if we all got up and walked away and did something different, we would be leaving the most vulnerable of our population to people who give no shits about us at all.
That's a fact. That's a fact. As a self-taught psychologist, and no, you do not need the certification of a Eurocentric or non-Eurocentric institution to validate you as a psychologist. You just need a reasonable degree of understanding about human behavior and the different states and stages, and a certain degree of clinical understanding. Which, if you can read a book and you can comprehend what you read, you can become, especially if you have a passion for it and an innate drive for it, like I always have. You can really say that is what what you are and what you do, and it is what I am and what I do. That being said, one of the burdens of knowing better is that the responsibility falls upon the shoulders of us who do know better, right? So when cats do things and have done things that are, disruptive to our connection, betrayal, and crossing, and just undermining and shit like that, even to the point where it's to their own detriment. Like if I'm carrying you to get you to a better position and you cut my legs off, that means I cannot carry you, right? So you fall. There's a lot of that goes on within us, and there's a reason for that. And because I have historical understanding and I have clinical understanding. I'm burdened with, like I told my son last week, I reminded him about when they were younger, and I used to be like, you know, the reason I'm telling you these things is so that when you get older, and this behavior that I'm now getting at you about, that if you continue to persist in, it's going to lead you to some unfortunate circumstances, some uncomfortable outcomes. You're not going to have the freedom to say, nobody told me, I didn't know. I said, I'm robbing you of that. So while all of your associates who will be in that same bag of shit that you'll be in, based upon your current trajectory, while they'll be able to say, nobody told me, I didn't know, you'll be sitting there like, damn, I can't even say that. He took that away from me when he told me all the shit that he told me. I can't even say that.
Yeah.
Right? So that having that insight and dealing with people who have done the kind of things that equate to them cutting off my legs while asking me to help them get up on their feet, I'm like burdened with this. I can't even act like I don't understand. I can't even say, hey, what's wrong with these? Because I know what's wrong with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The question becomes, what's wrong with me that I would subject myself to them? And what's wrong with me is I have empathy.
So
If you
question.
want to say it's wrong.
I was about to question you on that. Is it wrong?
No, it's not wrong. It's a great gift because empathy has, and for those who aren't clear, empathy is the ability to put yourself in the position of another person and essentially feel what they feel in their circumstances, even though you're not in their circumstances. Right? So my ability to do that served me very well in the street. It gave me the ability to be able to preempt people before they could do something to me, because I could read, if I were in their position in opposition to me in this moment, what would I be thinking about with them? And I can beat them to the punch. And I did, right? Sometimes it gave me the reputation for doing things to people for nothing because other people didn't see what I saw, but because other people didn't have the degree of empathy that I have and weren't allowing themselves, if they did have it, to actually respond to it and behave within it, they were being jammed. And then after the fact, be like, yo, something told me, I know I should have.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. So I moved preemptively and it looked like I just did something to somebody for nothing. But they know why. That's why I can go anywhere I used to be, and people that be like, yeah, he knocked me out. Yeah, he stripped me naked, maybe run down the street naked. Yeah, he he put one in me, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But they ain't got no problem with it though. They see me, it's like, yo, what's up? You know why? Because they knew somehow I knew, and it was empathy that gave me the ability to do that. You know what I mean? So I definitely embrace my empathy. I embrace it. But you have to be mindful. If you're a trusting person, only a trustworthy person is trust capable. Person that has a problem trusting other people is not a trustworthy person. They think that everybody's like them, right? That's why I say a liar thinks everybody's lying, right? And a thief thinks everybody's going to steal the first chance they get. You know what I mean? Understanding things like that and accepting what you see when people show you who they are, it empowers your empathy. It gives you the ability to see who they really are. Now, the burden of responsibility falling upon those of us who knows better, it comes down to this. You can be how you are. You can be a trustworthy person. You can be a trusting person. You can be an empathetic person. You can be a caring, loving, giving person. But you also have to be responsible with those gifts and abilities. Everything ain't for everybody.
My grandma used to say that all the time. All the time. Everything ain't for everybody. You don't share.
That's right.
Because that's your best interest. So some shit you keep, you know what I'm saying? You keeping that close circle.
That's right.
What's for me is for me. I don't have to share everything and still have that close relationship.
You know, the thing about stuff like that is when you're a child and you haven't had the degree of experience, you know, that our grandmother had. I don't know if you're talking about our grandmother on our father's side or your grandmother on your mother's side, but you know, that elder generation, the experiences that they had in a pre-civil rights, you know, reality, gave them a stark version of reality that when we came along in the latter 60s, you in the early 70s did not have. You know, we did not. There was a veneer over that reality by the time we came along, mandated by law, right? So they got to see and understand things we didn't. So when they gave us stuff like that, you know, we were like, but that's my friend.
Yeah, I had one of those experiences once. Like, yeah, you got to get that house, girl. You don't rent out. Renting out. There was definitely a divide there, and I was referencing my maternal grandmother, right? Because when she was the one that raised me, they were sharecroppers. It wasn't until my mother moved to New York, and the older kids started moving to New York, making money, and then she ran to our dad, and that's how grandmother got the money to buy their first house and their first their land where I grew up. I didn't find that out maybe 2 or 3 years later. Like, yeah, your parents money for this house and this land. But their experience in that small town that we grew up, we definitely understood that everything isn't for everything. There were certain places you didn't go because your skin wasn't the right color. And even within our own community, I just had someone when I went home recently, even in our own community, because my hair wasn't the right complexion, or my skin wasn't the right complexion, or they knew that my dad was from New York and there was a reputation of who this slick talking northerner was. There were a lot of people in that small town that weren't necessarily kind or welcoming or Malik, because, well, we were those New York kids, and you know their dad is this and their dad did that. This is who they are. So they were experiences that I learned on to keep certain things outside, like keep it away from those people. I knew not to share certain things. I knew not to have certain conversations because I knew what people saw when they saw me, right? I was supposed to be knocked up with 2 kids, and Malik was probably supposed to be somewhere the episodes of her father, you know, and that happened. But in our own community, that was the thought that's what would be.
Yeah. I mean, coming down to the South in the 70s, down to Charlotte to see my maternal grandmother's mother, and you know, seeing the difference between how they viewed us as opposed to like being home, you know, and it was definitely a expectation that we would bring some bad element, you know, to the community for sure, for sure, you know, and because I was more like our dad than you know than Malik was. Yeah, I might have contributed something to that idea. So I beat up all the boys and was diddling all the girls. I mean, what can I tell you? What can I tell you, man? They were older than me.
Okay, you was already outside. By 12, 13, you was already outside. You was
no, this is 6, 7, 8, bro.
Oh,
this is
man, you crazy.
7, 8. It's 6, 7, 8. You know, 8, 9, shit like that. You know what I mean? And the girls is like 12, the dudes is like 12, 13. And I'm sending them home with wet butts and bloody eyes, bloody noses. You know. because aggression.
Yeah.
Aggression. I was raised in aggression, so I didn't know how to play.
Yeah.
I really didn't know how to play. You know, I
So
didn't know how to play.
there's a big difference, right? Like we have some of the same lineage.
Mhm.
And it's just like, and I remember saying to someone, I don't know what would have happened had we stayed in that environment. I don't know what would have happened to us, right? Because daddy had made a promise to my mother that he would let my grandmother. And for a time period, he reneged and we were up for him. But, and so now that I hear, there were a lot of things I've learned as time went on. And I'm like, well, damn, had I stayed in the environment, what would have come of us? What would have happened? I mean, I thought my grandmother was fun. Don't get me wrong. I couldn't go off the front porch without an escort. But look where it saved me from experiencing.
So much crap. It saved
Right?
you from so much crap. It really, really did.
And I remember when
it really did.
Graduated in the Navy, he started going by his middle, which was daddy's name. So he was going by Vincent Hunter. She put that shit to a stop immediately. Oh,
because you never know how that could work out.
Exactly.
That's that.
She put a stop.
You know what I mean? Like, you never know.
Put a stop to that shit immediately. Absolutely not. You were not doing that. And so it's just like, didn't understand him because all I knew was daddy. I knew he liked eating ice cream. I knew there was music. I knew I could kind of get what I want from him, but I didn't know the other parts of it.
Yeah, and I apologize because I didn't think about that when I wrote about him in the book. And Malik told me, he's like, yo, she didn't know those things about that.
No,
and I said, yo, bro, it didn't even occur to me. You got to realize when I first started writing this, it wasn't, when I say this, I'm talking about this for those that don't know, my autobiography, Raised by Wolves, available on my website, www.themindplugacademy.com. But, it was a catharsis for me. It was my journal. I had no intention of publishing this, none whatsoever. It was something I was doing for myself. I was at a highly transitional period of my life. I was walking away from the only thing I had ever known, and I had no idea what was on the other side of that. It was pure faith that drove me, right? And tiredness, And so, when I decided that there was value in this, and it wasn't about me putting out going, I want to get my accolades on the record. It wasn't about that. I felt like if there was nothing more I could offer, this is my interpersonal, communication. If there's nothing of value I can offer, then I'm not putting this out. If I can't affect other people's lives and experiences and perspectives in some positive, useful way, I'm not doing it. I'm not putting this out, So at the point at which I concluded that somebody could learn something of use and make a real difference in their life, if I shared this, then I said, I'll do it, and it still took me, between developing that distinct literary voice, because I didn't want to just be words on a page. I wanted to have a distinct literary voice, like my, my idol in this space, Iceberg Slim, and, whatever was in there, remember, I wrote it like nobody was ever going to read it because nobody ever was going to read it. Right? So I never took anything out. I didn't take anything out. When I decided I'm going to publish it, I just published it. And so all of that, I worked through all of those experiences and exposures, I worked through them in this book, and then I put it out. It's like, imagine publishing your diary.
Yeah. And so
my diary.
Extremely brave of you, right? That's a brave thing to do, because that's all of your personal thoughts and feelings and your sharing the world. I'll be honest, I don't have it. I don't have it in me to do that. I will share a small circle, but to
I get it.
Mass world, I think that is really bold and brave. And you're right. There were a lot of you wrote in that book that I had a very difficult time digesting. I didn't know him as that person. I'm going to make your so one day when I was up, this was when Miami Vice was on TV, and this may have been before your time, but I know Cavario remember. And I remember coming up, and Daddy, the boys wanted pizza or something, and they said, well, you ask, because if you ask, he'll say, yeah. And I said, okay. So
That
I
sounds
said, Daddy, can we
familiar.
Yeah. Get pizza? And of course he said yes. And we're all in the car, and I'll never forget this. And I remember he stopped somewhere, and it was dark. And I remember that the L thing there, wherever we were. And I said, look, y'all, Daddy looked like he doing one of them drug deals off Miami Vice. Well, these assholes rat me out, and he loses his shit.
I bet he
because the thought was, one, he never wanted me to know about that. He never wanted me to know about that life. And he thought that my grandmother, someone must have tipped me off. And I'm like, no, Daddy, it's on Miami Vice. Right? Because I love me some Crockett Tub, honey. Woo! I do. And so at that moment, he was not going to let me go back down south. He was going to keep me from my grandmother, because he thought that I knew. It wasn't until I think I had like a panic attack crying. He'd never been that mad at me before, and I didn't understand where it was coming from. I think he realized by the next day that I didn't know what I was talking about. And no, I was just watching Miami Vice. Negro, you were doing some shit you shouldn't have been going with me in the car, Daddy. That was on you.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm saying that now as an adult in myself, but as a girl, I had no clue what that was. So no, I didn't know. And I think there was a level of whatever between the families that they weren't going to spill his secrets to me. They were very careful, because remember,
you better be.
Until the funeral, and everybody else knew except me. I didn't know.
You didn't know about me until the funeral?
No, that's crazy. When I knew about it. That's when I knew. Everybody else knew, but me.
Yeah, because I was around everybody. I spent the night at everybody's house. Me and Lenny grew up together. You know what I mean?
Why is he so upset? That was in my time. I remember you. And I'm like, well, why is he so upset? In my head, that's what I'm thinking. And it wasn't until like the repast or something after that someone said, no, that's my brother. And I'm like, well, where the hell is he been? So there was a certain amount of everyone knew but me.
I get it.
And I had to work through realizing who he was in those streets as opposed to who he was as Daddy. I couldn't eat sugar, couldn't watch TV, couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. But
it must be in the genes.
I could have gotten as much ice cream as I wanted. That for being exposed to music and culture and art, but all the while you're out there just wreaking havoc. And
yes, terrorizing.
It took me years, and there's still some moments where I'm still grappling with who that person was as opposed to who he was to me. And so on some level, I always feel like I have to give back because he did so much from so many people.
I say the same thing about all of them, my mother and her siblings and their children who were like my older siblings, they were all like 14 years older than me, including my sister by my mom. They were all 14 years, 15 years older than me, so, there were two generations of this behavior, before I came along. And then, of course, I'm completely enveloped in it, so I don't know no different, right? And all of the things that people revere and respect are coming out of this existence. So I'm not being discouraged in any way, shape, form, or fashion, from this behavior. you know. And so it took until I got, and I talked about this on a clip of a series of videos that I've been sharing over the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent clip that I posted right before I started this live, talking about realizing, it's two clips,
Mm-hmm.
two recent clips, where I'm talking about the impact of what we did on our community, and not really paying that any attention or recognizing it until 1989. I've been 9 years in the game at that point.
Okay.
And it was when I got to Baltimore, my first day in Baltimore. And that's when I realized, like, oh my God, this is what we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, this is what we've been doing. I've been doing it for 9 years.
Wow.
And I was like, this is the real impact of what we've been doing. I'm seeing, you know, generations of people in real time decimated by this industry that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
You know?
So.
And I really felt the kind of way. And I went home and I saw my mother and I was like, yo, like, what did you get me into?
Mm.
And she was like, is that bad? I said, I just left black man's hell.
Mm.
This is verbatim the conversation. I just left black man's hell.
Mm-hmm.
It was something, man. That's what everything I've done since I left the game, that's what it's been about.
I love.
Even when I was in the game.
Are you still doing like the prison ministry? Where you go?
I haven't gone in. I haven't gone in since we completed the program that we launched in 2019 here in South Carolina. I haven't gone in, but I'll continue to create through my nonprofit Healthy Routines the types of programs to bring education and reform into the prison system. And now I'm dealing with a brother who has the Securus, which are the tablets that they now use inside the prison systems. And they were just starting to introduce this idea, but now it's like they implemented it, and there's about maybe about 500,000 of these tablets spread out through the system, from the federal to the states to the local jails, where people are using these tablets now, and it's like it's an iPad essentially, you know, that sort of thing, and people are able to speak to their families on them. People are able to take classes and trainings on them. So I'm going to have, you know, my books on there, my trainings on there, you know, the Mind Plug Academy on there. This is what I'm dealing with this young brother about now. And so in that way, I am staying engaged in the prison reform, you know, process, you know, because it's all about education, you know, and it's all about being able to reach them. And this tablet implementation is definitely one of the most effective ways to be able to do that, you know, cost-wise and everything, you know. So that's where I'm at with that. That's where I'm at with that, you know. And on the other side, you know, again, being preemptive, I've put together with my wife this curriculum that was extracted from Raised by Wolves, and basically taking all of the lessons where I used my different psychosocial competencies, like, you know, my ability to create connections with people in these places that I wasn't from, in these towns, in these cities, these blocks that I wasn't from, didn't know nobody, and came in and took over, but didn't have to harm anybody to do it. Those were skill sets that I implemented, you know, where I was embraced and treated like family by people, not just people who wanted the drugs to sell or wanted the drugs to use, but people who had nothing to do with drugs at all, who were actually anti-drug. Those people embraced me. Those people opened their homes to me, you know, and those were skill sets,
right.
you know, interpersonal skill sets, intrapersonal skill sets, critical thinking, non-violent conflict resolutions, you know, those types of things that I use. Like, you know, I carry 2 guns every day. Like, I'm talking like 2 machine guns, 2 Macs, 2, you know, Glocks. Like, anybody who knows me knows that this is who I was. But I never relied on them.
Mm-hmm.
And there was never an instance where I said, man, whew, it's a good thing I have my joint on me. It was always this. My greatest weapon has always been between my ears. Everybody
We've got some young parents that love to hear stuff or need to hear it. I won't say they love it, but need to.
Well, that's what this program is about. So I'm targeting kids as young as 14, but I'm really focusing on the ages 15 to 19.
Okay.
And it's going to be a Zoom. And we're going to pull, what happens, what I'm doing now is I'm looking for people to sponsor copies of Raised by Wolves. So a person will, buy whatever, 2, 3 copies, 10 copies, whatever. If they buy 10 copies more, I'm getting a discount. But they sponsor the book. I put their name in the book as a sponsor. I give the book to kids, and they can recommend kids if they might know some as well, that will receive the book. The book will have the particular points that I'm pulling the lessons from, highlighted and numbered. And they will join me on Zoom from wherever they are, whatever city they're in, whatever country they're in. And we will do this for, 1 hour. I'll do it twice a week for 1 hour. And we'll go, lesson by lesson. And I'll, tell them the story, talk about that particular part, let them ask questions. But I will impart to them what it was that enabled me to do in that particular instance what a great many people have not been able to do, and what end up costing them their life or their liberty. And that's essentially, what I'm doing to keep cats from going to jail in the first place, And I mean, the truth of the matter is, as much as people may not like to hear this because they've fallen in love with the idea of losing gloriously, I won that game. I don't know many people that have.
You do, right?
So that validates the efficiency of what I have to offer, the usefulness of what I have to offer. I am the result of it. I dropped out of school in 10th grade. This ain't nothing that no European stuck in my head. I am not this way because some European, got to me. That ain't what it is.
Right.
So, this is what this program is about. It's about keeping them from going to jail. You got at-risk kids and you got proven risk kids. I'm trying to get at the at-risk and the proven risk. Keep them from going if they haven't already, and if they have, keep them going back. That starts early. That starts early. You know that they start going to jail early, and then they can't break they start the caption that I put in the last post that I did pertaining to that time, that I did this video stuff with my partner Al Prophet. I talk about how I talk to a lot of older guys, right? A lot of older hustlers, older big time gangsters, right? And who made millions and millions of dollars, right? They were some of the coldest and craftiest in the game. And they might have been on the street, maybe 15 years, before they went to prison, in their mid 20s to, early 30s. And were in there, 25, 35, 40 years, right? So in the time when they were young coming into the game, they were being praised for their behaviors and for the achievements those behaviors brought them, right? The cars, clothes, the jewelry, and all that kind of stuff, whatever. And then when they went to prison, they were insulated in an environment where that type of achievement was even more encouraged and praised, right? So they never got a chance to actually socialize outside of that mindset. So even now in their 70s, these guys are completely unrepentant. I asked them, so you regret it? Cost you 30 years of your life? No regrets. No regrets whatsoever. You don't regret all the damage that was done by all the drugs that you took yourself? No regrets at all. So we're down to our last 20 seconds, 19 seconds, so they're going to cut us off soon. But thank you for joining me, sis. I love you. I love you so much.
Love you.
It was nice having you and hearing about Grandpa. Like, I ain't never heard none of this stuff.
No.
That was dope. No.
Well,
I'm going to do a show in Philly, and I'm going to have you
please.
come out.
Excellent.
I will.
Yeah.